guys, it's Corey Cooper here. Thank you so much for joining the book club. I just want to let you guys know that for the next probably 4 or 5 weeks, we're doing a panel discussion with some really great friends of mine and their take on the book, my take on the book. And so here you go, week 1, introduction part 1, Love Does by Bob Goff. Thanks for joining us. Talk about this book. All your favorite things, go.
Oh, yes. Okay, so in chapter 3, whenever I want to read it, the part where I love the way he writes, because in the part in chapter 3 when he's like, where is it? Let me get to it really quick. He's like, do you have a boat? And like I didn't even realize after I kept reading and I got to the next page, I was like, wait. Did I really read it like that? Like, you didn't even realize it says, he exhaled, have, he inhaled, Like, that's not what I read in my head. I didn't read those words at all. I read, do you have a boat? And I was like, ah. And it's just so great, like, the way that he makes you feel like you're there. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Just like, oh, this is awesome, and this guy's so in love with this girl, and he loves her, and Jesus loves us, like that. Like, it was so cool.
Like crazy.
Chapter 3 was my favorite.
So bad.
So.
Yeah. Well, I just loved how when I would finish a chapter, I'd be like, I want to do that. Like, I'm ready. Okay, what is it? What's my adventure? Where should I go? What should I do? Because the chapter when he had all of his kids sit down after 9/11 and they talked and they sent the letters to all the big dignitaries and leaders of these countries, and then they just wait for responses, and he promised them, if we get responses, we're gonna go. And I was like, yeah, right. And we got what, 27 or 29, and we went, and I was like,
Every single one.
and even the part where he's like, we even wrote letters to the teachers, and one of the teachers wrote back, because I'm a teacher, so I found this really funny. One of the teachers wrote back saying all the reasons why no, this would not be a good idea, and he just wrote tough back. And so I'm like, yes, that is the coolest thing ever. And just like the opportunity these kids had to experience like just this love does, like doing things and not going with an agenda, but honestly just wanting to meet these men and talk to them and build a relationship and give them a house key and say, hey, come and visit anytime you want. I'm like, that is by far one of the coolest things I've ever heard of.
I liked it because it reminded me of childlike faith, because so often myself, like, I remember being a kid because I'm not that old, and so I'm like, when I hear things, I believe them, and it's been cool because God's just been bringing me back to that, because he sees things and he gets excited about them and he just believes them instead of like doubting things in his mind. So like, when his kids, when they got all the letters, it's like they went to all the different countries then, or even in the first book first chapter was the first chapter, his friend, who is, let's go. Where Bob just wasn't even done with high school. He's just like, I'm going to stop high school and I'm going to go climb mountains. And his friend, I was just like, okay, I'm with you. It's like I could so often be with somebody and I could be like, no, I gotta correct what you're doing. Like I gotta fix whatever's going on in your life. Like you can't go and do that. You can't make mistakes, But he's like, his friend let him go make a mistake, and he's like, I just want you to know, like, I'm with you. I'm not gonna
that's great.
Yeah, it helped me so much because I know I can approach relationships like, no, I gotta fix what's going on in you first. Yeah. Like you can't go do that.
But I want to just throw a random quote at you guys before we start and get your thoughts on it. It's a little philosophical, but I'm just gonna see what happens. It's a really, really great quote, and it's kind of the reason why I'm doing the book club. So I kind of want to throw it out there and just see. All right, so focus because it's a little difficult. Okay. It's C.S. Lewis, so Kirsten's like, give it to me. I'm so ready. All right. It is a serious thing to live in a society of possible gods and goddesses, to remember that the dullest and most uninteresting person you talk to may one day be a creature, which if you saw it now, you would be strongly tempted to worship, or else a horror and a corruption such as you now meet, if at all, only in a nightmare. All day long, we are, in some degree, helping each other to one or other of these destinations. Every person has the potential to be amazing and perhaps something you would worship because, wow, it's so amazing what they are capable of, or to be a nightmare, like something that is in a nightmare. Every person has the potential to be a Hitler or somebody that we all think, Mother Teresa. And every single moment, we are all helping, influencing people to be one or the other.
Totally. Wow.
So that's why I do the book club, because I'm kind of in the context of love and what love can do for someone else. That's why I do this, because I see the potential in people to be beautiful and the best that they can be, with all the amazing, unique talents and perspectives that they have. And I want to help influence them to be all the great things they could be, versus, you know, every day we have barrage of negativity, and I get a lot of letters. Like I have a letter that I might read today from fans that say, you know, their parents tell them they're worthless, they're abused, they're cutters, maybe they're in a Christian family, but their parents don't understand that they deal with depression, and they tell them that they're stupid and just get over it. Like all over the place where there should be safe places and good influences, sometimes there just aren't.
Yeah.
And those people they don't have as much potential because they don't have somebody who says, I love you and I'm with you and I think you're awesome. Because they don't even think that they are. You know, they think they're worthless, or they think they're useless, or they think, well, you're good and you can do cool things because you're like cool. You're like a rock star, you like talent, whatever. And I think you don't know my story either. We all have the potential to be a terrible person, a loser, worthless, or something amazing. And I think I want to influence people. I want to love people in a way that they can be who they should be, who God's created them to be, with all their beautiful uniquenesses, and not comparing themselves to, oh, well, she's this way, so I should be this way. No, you be the way you are, with the things you love, and the things that make you lovely and special. And I want to encourage you to be that person. So that's why I do the book club, right? So, having said all that, let's go to the intro, because we were talking about childlike faith.
Disneyland. I know, right? Child don't like Disneyland.
So this is I'm just going to quote a few things from the second page of the intro, but he says, we all want to have a place where we can dream and escape anything that wraps steel bands around our imagination and creativity. I think I love that. And then skip to the end of the next paragraph. Faith is at its best when it's that way too. It's best lived when it's owned.
Yes.
What does that mean to you guys? Faith is best lived when it's owned.
Because the first verse that truly captured my heart and that made me want to cry every time I read it, you know, because God had put that truth in me, was John 17:24. Father, I desire that those you've given me would be with me where I am. And that, just that concept alone. Like, so, yeah.
Because like I would say of you, from knowing you now, I didn't know you before, but from knowing you now, I would say that a huge strength of yours is that you're just very comfortable with who you are, and you don't deal with insecurity at all. You're just very comfortable with who you are, and like you were telling me, when you went to IHOP and you had just were a really shy, fearful person, and you know, kind of, there was dancing going on, and you're like, I'm not going to do that because that's embarrassing. Like, that's weird to me because I know you now, and I'm like, I just can't even imagine you being embarrassed about anything because you're just very comfortable, like, with who you are. So maybe tell us a little bit about how, because that's a God thing. Like, God comes and brings change and freedom to us. And so maybe just talk a little bit about that too.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, just that truth of Jesus wanting me. Like, Jesus, are you sure you want me? But it started to drive away fear. And it was that few weeks when I was at this camp, it was like 3 weeks, but, you know, just people speaking it over and over again, and you can choose to believe it or you can choose to not believe it, you know, and I just started to believe it, like, people were all in, it was a time of worship, and, you know, people were worshiping, and a bunch of my friends and stuff were dancing, and, you know, just like having fun in worship with the Lord, and I was sitting in my chair, so, like, I'm like on the edge. Like, I had been fearful my whole life, and I'd been so shy of everybody, which was really fearful, and I didn't like talking to people I didn't know really well, and just so bound so bound up, like I would get paralyzed so easily. And so I'm sitting in my chair, and I'm like, God, I really want to dance, but I can't. But I really want to, but I can't. And I'm so tired of not being able to, and I'm so tired of being afraid. Like, I don't want it anymore. And then I had my eyes closed, and I just saw in my imagination just this picture of a foot that was dancing. It's like, oh, that's interesting. And then right then they start, they change songs, the worship team, and they start playing this song that I'd heard growing up. And it was like, the lyrics were like, we will dance on the streets that are golden, talking about like when we're in heaven with the Lord. And all of a sudden, it was just like something broke. And I just felt so different. Whoa! Where did the fear go? Like, I feel so different. And I started jumping up and down, and I was like, whoa! I went back to one of my leaders at the camp. Her name was Amy, and I was just, Amy, I can dance. She's like, oh, that's great, Kirsten. No, I can dance. Like, you don't understand. And it's just the beauty of that truth that Jesus wants to be with me. And
like there's a quote right here that I'll read from the intro. It says, on Tom Sawyer Island, I reflect on God who didn't choose someone else to express his creative presence to the world, who didn't tap the rock star or the popular kid to get things done. Oh, I'm getting emotional. He chose you and me. We are the means, the method, the object, and the delivery vehicles. God can use anyone for sure. If you can shred on a fender or one best personality, you're not disqualified. Which I think is funny how he spits it. It just doesn't make you more qualified. You see, God usually chooses ordinary people like us to get things done. I think that is amazing. I think that's part of, I guess what I want to emphasize here is that God can and wants to use us, regardless of how qualified you think you are. And to me, part of engaging is just having a little bit of hope that he could use you too. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, you can disqualify yourself, which means you're not engaging at all, because you have no hope that he'll use you. And the fact is, he's the God of the universe, and he's created you so special and unique, and he can use your life. But you actually have to believe. That's the first step, believing that God can use you, having, even if it's just a little bit of hope, that perhaps, maybe, I'm not worthless like I think I am. Perhaps, maybe, God can give me an extraordinary life. You know? To me, that's the start of it.
Oh, yeah.